If you're watching this, then you found the box. I left it behind the old boiler in the basement of my grandfather's cabin. Inside, 13 VHS tapes. All numbered, all labeled. But whatever you do, don't play tape 13. The first night I stayed there, the power went out. I went down into the basement, looking for the breaker, and found the box. Old VHS tapes. 13 of them. Yellowed labels, handwritten dates. From 1994 to 2001. I couldn't resist. I played the first one. It was my grandfather. Younger, but exhausted. He was sitting by the fireplace, speaking into the camera. Day 3. It moved again last night. I heard it whispering. I'm setting up cameras. I need proof. Each tape got worse. By tape 4, he hadn't slept in days. He was drawing symbols on the walls, muttering things about a presence between the walls. Something that feeds on fear. He said never to look in a mirror after midnight. Said it watches through reflections. Tape 8. He was in the basement, writing something on the floor. In blood. He said tape 13 must never be played. That it was a door, and once opened, it can't be closed. I watched it. Tape 13 doesn't start like the others. No timestamp, no intro, just static, and then a figure. It's not my grandfather, but it's wearing his face. The camera shakes. Darkness all around. And then, voices. My voice. Speaking words I've never said. Overlapping. Echoing. Since then, I haven't been alone. It whispers in my sleep. Repeats my thoughts. Stands behind me when I turn off the lights. If you find these tapes, burn them. Leave. Run. But if you've already watched tape 13, it's too late. Tonight I woke up freezing. The tape was still playing. The screen was black. But the reflection in the glass wasn't mine. Don't look behind you.
If you want more true creepy stories, leave a comment and subscribe. Good night. And be careful when it gets dark. Whispers from the Basement. Ethan's story.
Have you ever heard someone call your name when you're absolutely home alone? My name is Ethan, and this happened to me when I was 19. My parents had gone away for the summer and I stayed behind in our old house, alone. The house had a basement, old, sealed, never used. My mom always said, "Don't open that door, Ethan. Leave it shut." At first I didn't care. I mean, why would I? But then, on the second week, I heard it. A voice calling me. "Ethan, come down." A whisper, low, coming from behind the basement door. I froze, stared at the door. It was pitch black underneath. The next night, again, footsteps, scratching. Then a whisper. "Ethan, are you home?" I tried blocking the door, hammered nails, moved a shelf in front of it. But the next morning, the shelf was pushed aside. nails, pulled out. Someone had come out. By the fourth night, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a flashlight and a knife. I opened the door and stepped down. The basement swallowed the light. Each stair creaked. The air felt cold, wrong, heavy. And then, behind me, footsteps, software, barefoot, slow. I turned around. Nothing. And then, right in my ear, "You came. Home." I ran up the stairs, but the steps kept stretching, endless, like the basement didn't want to let me go. It didn't feel like my house anymore. The walls, the air, even gravity felt different. And then, nothing. I blacked out. Next thing I knew, I woke up in my room. On the floor, shaking. The basement door was shut, but on my arm, deep, fresh scratches. And right by the door, something was carved into the wood. "You'll be back, Ethan." I moved out 2 days later. The house was demolished not long after. But during the teardown, they found something. Another basement. No doors, no windows, just concrete walls covered in names. Mine was one of them. Subscribe if you want more stories like this, and remember, not every door leads somewhere you can return from.
The Mirror Room. My aunt left me her house when she passed away. It was more like a cottage, really. Old, creaky, and covered in ivy. But there was one room she never let anyone enter. The Mirror Room. She called it that because it had no windows and only one thing inside. A full-length mirror bolted to the far wall. The day I moved in, I opened that room out of curiosity. The mirror was strange, old, a little foggy, but what creeped me out was the reflection. It wasn't quite right. No matter where I stood, there was a half-second delay between my movement and the reflection. Like the mirror was watching me, thinking. That night, I dreamed of my aunt standing in front of it, her hand pressed against the glass, whispering something I couldn't hear. The next night, I stood in front of the mirror again. I raised my hand. The reflection didn't. It just stared. Then, it smiled. I ran out and slammed the door shut. But now, sometimes when I pass the hallway, I see someone standing inside the mirror room. Someone who looks just like me, only wrong. I tried to ignore it, locked the door, covered the keyhole. But every night, something changed. One morning, I woke up and the door was wide open. Inside, the mirror looked different, brighter, almost inviting. I called a locksmith to take it out. He laughed, until he tried to unbolt it. "I don't get it," he muttered. "It's not bolted to the wall, it's part of it." He knocked on the mirror. It echoed, hollow, like a tunnel. That night, I recorded it, just to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy. 3:07 a.m. The footage showed the mirror flickering, like static on an old TV. And then, I walked into the room, but I never left. Only thing is, I was asleep in bed the whole time. The next morning, there was a handprint on the mirror. From the inside, I stopped sleeping. I couldn't trust what I'd see when I woke up. Sometimes, I'd catch a glimpse of myself in other mirrors, but my reflection wouldn't move. It would just stare. I covered every mirror in the house, except that one, the one in the room. I knew I had to destroy it, so I took a hammer and stood in front of it one last time. My reflection was already smiling. "You're late," it whispered. I swung. The glass didn't shatter. Instead, it rippled, like water, and pulled me in. The cold hit me instantly. The air inside the mirror was thick, muffled, like being underwater. Everything looked the same. The room, the door, even me. Except I was no longer in control. I turned toward the mirror from the inside and watched as my reflection, now fully alive, turned and walked away. She left the room. She left me behind. I screamed. I banged on the glass. But no sound passed through. Now I sit here, day after day, watching her live my life. She smiles more now, laughs in photos, has friends over. But at night, she comes back. She stands in front of the mirror, leans in close, and whispers, "Stay quiet. They still think I'm you."